Guys, welcome to another series in Python focused tutorial videos that we have been working on since. So guys, in our last videos we talked about comments, and then we practicalized some comment sections, that the double line comments and the single line comments. So now let's dive into Python data types, not to waste much of our time. So now in Python, on Python we have one particular functions that we use to output something on the console. And what is that function? We call it print function. So this print function outputs everything that you might do, and we print it on your console. Now let's start with the first data type that we have, is string. So on a string, now if you want to use print functions to print anything that has to do with string, Python accepts either you use single quotes like this, or you use double quotes like this. So let's say single quotes like hello world. Let's say hello world, and then let's do the same thing below like this. Let's say hello world again. So you see what I'm talking about. Now let's run this code. Let's run our code. So by running our code now, do you see that by running our code, do you see we have hello world, the same program run twice, because Python does not discriminate whether you are using single quote, a double quote, or you are using single quotes. So it doesn't really matter what you are doing. So anything that has to do with words, I told you that anything that has to do with words has to do with what we called string. So this is string, this is what we call string. So let's say we want to work with what we call an integer. So we are still going to be derivating on something like this, like something like 12, and then you run your code. Let's run our code. So then we have 12 on the console, printed out on the console. So now let's say we want to work with what we have, float. We want to work with float values. So to work with float values, we can just say 2.45. Now let's run our code. Then use that we have 2.45 as our float values. So now on Boolean data types, let's say we want to work with Boolean data types, and Boolean data types has to do with either true or false. So we need to you can either do true like this, but note one thing: Python is very case sensitive. Python is case sensitive when it comes to writing something. So we're writing text or syntax in Python code. So do you see that we have true here? So print true, then we should have true printed on the console. So if it is false, you can just write false. But note one thing that we are doing here: we do not put this into a quote, because actually we know that is a string. But this is what we called built-in data. So this kind of data doesn't need, we call it keywords. So keywords in Python, we are still going to be talking about keywords in Python, so keywords that we have in Python in the next video. But the thing is, here on these keywords, so we have true, we have false on these keywords. So if we run our code like this, and then we have true, we have false. So in the next tutorials, we'll be diverting more attentions on Python data types more, especially on string. So see you guys in the next tutorial.